Hey guys, so I wanted to go through this some options here for this boundary water trip. I have 4 different options, and I think each option will, you know, give us a completely different experience. So take a look at this if you wouldn't mind. This is northern Minnesota. Here's the Boundary Waters area. To give you some perspective, here's Grand Marais, and over here is Ely. Let me go through a couple options for you. I'll try to keep this as quick as I can. Option 1 is where we enter in on Fall Lake. Fall Lake seems to have, I think, some good things going for it. The one thing is that the lakes don't seem to be too huge, and neither do the portages. There's not a whole lot of them, at least. We come through here, pretty cool scenic area where there's some islands that we might be able to perhaps explore, maybe have lunch on the first day. And then up in here, there's this thing called the Pipestone Falls, which I think would be kind of cool to take a look at on that first day. There's also this thing that this guy calls Smalley Central up here, which I think might be some good smallmouth bass fishing. But up in here, once we get into this area on day 1, Pipestone Bay, there'd be a lot of campsites up here that we could stay at and maybe spend our entire trip on as we maybe explore this area for a couple days. If we take a look over at these at this map, here's Pipestone Bay. Every one of these red dots represents a campsite, so you can see there's tons of places to choose from, and the green spot represents places that are supposedly like really good fishing. So I see I guess only 1 dot, so maybe the fishing isn't that great on that one. But we would have the opportunity to perhaps maybe do a loop and kind of explore a little bit. So option 1, Fall Lake. Option 2 is where we go over to closer to Grand Marais, and we hop in on Sawbill Lake. One of the things I like about this is that there's an outfitter right there that we could get a canoe from and walk it right over to the boat launch. From here, there's a lot of places that we could kind of collaborate on and decide where to go. But what I think, just by looking at it, that might be kind of fun is to head north, do this portage, maybe kind of hug the side of this this lake area here, give you an idea of what it kind of looks like. But work our way west into this chain of lakes right over here. And I was thinking we could spend our entire trip kind of in here just exploring around. When we look at that area a little bit closer, here's that chain of lakes I was just showing you. Red dots are campsites, so I don't think we're going to be like stranded anywhere. And also I see some green dots for supposedly they're good fishing areas. So that being said, I think this spot might be worth considering. 4 lakes total, 4 portages total. We'd be coming back in. On all these trips, we would enter and exit from the same location. So that was the second option, Sawbill Lake. The third option is back over towards Ely. It's Hegman Lake. The main draw about this one is that it's got some Native American pictograph. It's got a Native American pictograph, some rock art that I think might be kind of cool to check out. Park our vehicle here, big old portage to get into the water, and then from there, just headed north in the canoe through this little portage here up onto North Hegman, where there's a pretty popular pictograph here of looks like a person with a moose and another animal of some kind, which I think would be really cool to see. There are a few trade-offs though with seeing it. One trade-off would be we'd have to come back down south, do a big long portage to get to Little Bass Lake where there's campsites. Or we could continue on north through this, to me, which looks like an insanely long portage, onto Angleworm Lake. And even once we get up onto Angleworm Lake, although it looks pretty scenic, there's not a lot in terms of campsites. Here's that same lake, that same body of water. Not a whole lot of of campsites. So you can imagine canoeing into there after a whole day of portaging and stuff, and only having a few campsites to choose from, and there might already be some people on them. It looks like up in this corner, though, that there'd be some good fishing, which would be nice, but I don't see a lot of other green dots. So there's some trade-offs with this route. Seeing that pictograph would be pretty awesome, I think. And the last route would be this, it'd be more river traffic, or more river canoeing, which I guess could be kind of fun as well. So we'd park in this cul-de-sac, which I noticed there's a lot of people in there, so I don't know what the traffic would be like here. Pretty long portage onto the river. Once we get onto the river, apparently it kind of looks like this. Small river. The red lines are portages here. Looks like there's some kind of rapids. But this would be a pretty long day of canoeing, so I'm picturing a pretty early start to the day. But in my mind, I'm thinking we could do this in a day. And we get up to Nina Moose Lake. On Moose Lake here, I think this would be just kind of where we explore for a couple days and then head back the same way we came. If we look at the other map here from the Boundary Waters, you can see that if we can get onto Nina Moose Lake, there are, looks like there's some fishing, a lot of campsites, and we have this opportunity to kind of do a lap here if we so choose. So those are the four options. Fall Lake is option 1, Sawbill Lake is option 2, Hegman Lake is option 3, and this last one was the Moose River. So please let me know what you think, guys.